we had a very big issue. The centre mid position was vacant and we needed somebody to fill it. And so it has now been filled by Martin the Odegaard. And today we're going to be finding out if this card is worth it to help get you more wins, and if this card is wondrous, mid, or doo-doo. And by the end of this video, you should learn the best ways to use this card if you do decide to buy it. But why should you listen to me? Well, I consistently get rank 2 to the rank 3 range. I'm also an elite division player, so I believe I can use my ability and things I've learned in the game to help guide you to use the best cards to help get you more wins in FC 25. But before we move further into anything at all about this card, if you need fuck coins to afford these type of cards or even more expensive cards, be sure to use code CV3 on U7Buy for 6% off. Link in the description or link in comments for cheap and safe coins. Now listen, there's a very important information on Martin the Odegaard in FC 25 that you have to pay attention to. So make sure you listen to all the points I'm going to tell you about this card, because if you miss out on certain things, it might make you want to buy the card and you won't realize some of its faults. But that could also be the same thing the other way around. So pay attention. We're going to talk about the most important thing for a midfielder slash type of cam, which is the dribbling ability and the passing ability for show, but we'll get into that later. First, let's just talk about the pace. Now for Martin the Odegaard, he's one of that crafty man, you get me? Doing a little bit of that twist and turn with his abilities, looking around in real life, you get me? And in this game, he's not too far from that, but don't expect him to be burning nobody like Mbappe. He's not doing that. Don't expect him to be burning people like he's Al Marion back in the day. No, he's not one of those fast pacey players. He's one of those, he's more crafty, swift, thinks with his brain before running, not just a pace merchant, you get me? So with this guy, don't be expecting him to burn people, but they did give him a decent amount enough pace to give you enough space, ramming accidentally, to give you nice passes for your other pacey wingers or attackers. But for pace, it's decent, but nothing special. Now, although he's a midfielder, something you gotta take into consideration for a midfielder is that defensive capability. And he doesn't have the best stats for it. But let me tell you something. I was absolutely surprised. I was surprised, man, because he was intercepting that ball like I couldn't believe it. And his tackles were kind of pretty decent. Look at here. For his abilities and what he can do on other sides of the ball, for defensively, I ain't gonna lie, it was actually pretty good, surprisingly. So don't count him off for his defensive capabilities in this game. But the way I do suggest putting him in the position to maximize his defense is make him a little bit more of an attacking role and press, and he will help you win the ball in some dangerous situations to give you attacking opportunities. You get? And when we're talking about those attacking opportunities, it involves shooting the ball, shooting the pelota. And look at here, Martin the Odegaard's finishing ability is, let me put it this way, a mixture between Lionel Messi and a finishing of a doo-doo centre back, and Angel Di Maria using his right foot. That weak foot ain't hitting. But it's only for this reason. He puts himself in the position to make a beautiful finesse like Messi that I would like to do with the Odegaard, but he doesn't have the play style. So when I would green it, shoot it, it is the worst shot you will ever see in your life. He skies it on a green. He goes out of bounds on a green when I was green timing with his finesses. Horrendous. But if you hit the trivela like I'm watching a telenovela, if you hit a normal shot and green time it, there's a way higher chance it's going in. His finishing is pretty good that way. But don't even think about doing the finesses with this guy. It's horrendous. I was even in the box greening it. He's shooting it right at the keep. So that's the thing you have to pay attention to while using this card. And you might get tired of that. But speaking of being tired, we talking about the stamina and the physicality. I put him in a role where he has to do a lot of work, and his stamina stayed up pretty high for a while. But that physicality, puss in what? Puss in what? Puss in boots. If you get near a player like Van Dijk, you know he's the example always, a strong mofo, they're gonna push him down. And the thing about it though is that he might be able to stay on balance, but for the most part, he's gonna get bodied if there's like a one-on-one. He's a pretty big puss in boots. So avoid player with this type of card, which is why it makes him special, because we're gonna talk about the very important thing, passing and dribbling. Let's start with the dribbling though. Since he is a puss in boots, he needs to be able to escape away from players and do a little bit of that twist and turn. And he has the absolute ability. I couldn't believe it. This guy can twist and turn like a madman, moving left and right, back, forth, behind the front. You don't get it. It's insane. You get me? Very responsive dribbling for this horrendous dribbling game. The worst responsiveness game I've ever played in my life. He surprisingly was responsive to twist and turn to give you opportunities to pass or shoot. His dribbling is one of the top tiers I've used. That's what you got to do with this guy. Send them over the tops. He won't fare for that. Dimer. Sending them through balls. Zinger into the middle, right in between the centre back, and sends it right into the striker. And then ping passes, he got it. Incisive pass is his play style that makes him very nice. But that leads me to literally the passing, and it's all accurate. When you twist and turn and make the passes, that is what he does. But that leads me to saying, is this guy wondrous mid or doo-doo though? Because he can do all those things, but that doesn't mean he'll be wondrous, depending on how you like to use the card. Now, the chemistry style I do recommend for this card is, I say you could either maximize his abilities with an engine, so it puts up the pace to make him a little faster, and then his passing will be even crazier, and his dribbling, instead of trying to beef up things that he lacks in, or you could put a shadow on him just to make him faster and better defense. But overall, I think Martin the Odegaard is absolutely wondrous card. Very good card to pick up for the Premier League teams, and if you have another way to link him, it's a very solid card, especially if you're looking for a dimer and a decent defense. Also a goal scorer. But this card right here might also be wondrous. Find out if this card is wondrous, mid, or doo. Adios.